Right now, literally as we speak, people are fighting online. You know the drill. They're holding their phones, typing out these furious messages, hitting send way too hard, probably in all caps. And why are they so worked up? Well, it's all because of a new movie. It's an adaptation of Wuthering Heights, starring the incredible Australian actor Margot Robbie. You've probably seen her face plastered on huge paper posters all over the city, or rolling by on the side of a bus. Now, some people absolutely love this new movie. They're buying tickets, eating popcorn, and just cheering it on. But other people? They completely hate it. They're saying the director broke all the old rules, and this massive, loud fight is spreading like wildfire across the internet right now.
So this brings us to the main theme of our explainer today. Does a movie have to copy a book exactly? It's a huge question right now. Every single year, Hollywood takes these classic paper books and turns them into massive blockbusters. Millions of people have read the books, right? And then millions more buy tickets to see the movies. They walk in expecting to see the exact same story play out on the screen. But as we're seeing, often they don't.
Well, here's my short and sweet answer to that question. This new movie is very different from the old book. And honestly, I think that's a really good thing. I firmly believe that making changes is exactly what makes a story feel fresh and exciting today.
Okay, let's dive right into this first point with Section 1, a bright new style. We're going to look at how this movie completely changes the feeling of the original.
Think about the original book for a second. Emily Bronte wrote it way back in 1847. When you read those pages, you picture quiet, dark rooms. You imagine people bundled up in heavy, dark winter clothes, speaking in these soft, proper voices, sitting perfectly still and following strict old rules, right? Now think about the new movie. The director, Fennell, completely flips the script. When you sit in the theater, you're hit with loud pop music. I mean, Charlie XCX is blasting heavy, fast beats, and the bass is literally shaking your seat. You've got the bright star power of Margot Robbie. The actors are wearing these strange, new clothes, running wildly through wet mud, getting brown dirt smeared all over their faces, bleeding bright red blood. It is loud, it is fast, and it is totally wild.
To put this into perspective, it's kind of like putting a coat of bright new paint on a very old, dark house. Imagine this house. It's 200 years old. The wood is black and bone dry, the windows are tiny and caked in gray dust, the roof is caving in. Basically, nobody wants to visit this place. But then somebody shows up with a huge, dripping paintbrush. You can literally smell the fresh paint. They slather that dark wood in bright pink and sunny yellow. They scrub the glass windows with soap and water. Now, the house still has the exact same walls. It's got the same wooden doors. But when you walk past it now, you stop, you stare, you feel completely different about it. And I think this fresh paint is fantastic. It makes a whole new generation of young people actually want to open that door and walk inside the old house again.
Moving on to Section 2, the missing pieces. Let's take a look at what the director intentionally left out.
So, the director made 3 really big changes here. First up, there is absolutely no ghost story. In the classic book, there's this terrifying ghost knocking on a glass window in the freezing rain. But in the movie, that ghost is completely gone. No creepy knocking in the middle of the night. Second, the main male actor is a white man, whereas in the original book, the writer specifically describes him as having dark skin. And third, the housemaid is played by an Asian actor, but in the book, she's a white English woman. The director totally changed the faces and the colors of the characters. She literally just tossed out parts of the old book.
Now, let me give you a real-world example of how the director plays with the rules. Take the main male actor, Jacob Elordi. The guy is massive. He's a very, very tall man, literally 195 centimeters tall. That's taller than most doorways. So the director actually built a special set just for him. She made the heavy wooden ceiling incredibly low, so the solid wood is sitting maybe 2 centimeters above his head. When you're watching the movie, you can literally see his dark hair brushing against the ceiling. It feels like this tiny room is physically pushing his heavy body down to the floor. He can't even stand up straight. His wide shoulders are constantly hunched over. And this physical trap, it perfectly shows his deep, boiling anger without him having to say a single word. It's just a brilliant, new way to tell the story.
But, as you can imagine, a lot of diehard fans of the old book are furious about these missing pieces. They're online saying this is like making a hot pizza but totally forgetting to add the cheese. They think without those old parts, the story's just dry and empty. They want the ghost and the old faces back. But let's be real, I have a clear opinion on this. I absolutely love the new taste. Sometimes a pizza without all that heavy cheese lets you actually taste the fresh, sweet, red tomatoes so much better. The movie strips away the heavy, suffocating old social rules and just leaves the loud, raw feelings of human love and hate. It tastes fresh, you know?
Let's move to Section 3,
the right to change, and see how this builds into the idea of artistic freedom.
Look, history shows us that artists have always changed famous stories. This isn't some brand new problem. Let's travel way back to the year 1951. A composer named Bernard Herrmann wrote a musical play based on the Wuthering Heights book. But the theater bosses, they actually wanted him to change the sad ending into a happy one with singing and dancing. Now, jump forward to 2024. The massive sci-fi movie Dune made huge changes to its original book. And looking ahead to 2025, the new Frankenstein movie does the exact same thing to its source material. This literally happens in every single decade.
Let's look at the specific changes in those movies because they're fascinating. In the original Dune book, the woman says yes to the man. She stays with him out there in the hot, dry sand under that burning sun. But in the 2024 movie, she says no. She physically turns around and walks away alone into the deep blowing sand, leaving him completely behind. And in the old Frankenstein book, the huge, scary green monster is the one who kills the woman with his massive hands, throwing her on the bed. But in the new movie, the human doctor accidentally kills her. Actually, it's worse. He makes a horrible mistake with his sharp medical tools. These directors change the absolute core actions of the stories. And guess what? Millions of people bought tickets and completely loved these new movies.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is a simple rule laid out by the popular movie magazine Den of Geek. They made this super clear statement. You must respect the past, but you must also bring fresh energy to the present. You can't just copy old words from old, dusty paper. You have to breathe new life into them for audiences today.
It's honestly just like playing a famous song your own way. Think of a classic, slow, quiet song. Maybe a woman playing it softly on a wooden piano. But then, a new rock band decides to cover it. They aren't using a piano, they're plugging in heavy electric guitars, they're smashing huge drums with heavy wooden sticks, and the singer is just screaming the words into the microphone. The lyrics are exactly the same, but that loud noise and fast energy, it makes you want to jump out of your chair and dance. A movie director is exactly like that loud rock band. She has every right to play the old song her own way.
And that brings us to Section 4. Let movies be movies. Let's wrap up our explainer.
We're back to our opening question. Does a movie have to copy a book exactly? And my answer is a loud, resounding no. A movie absolutely must build its own world.
So, here is my final message to you, and it's short and easy to remember. A book is a book, a movie is a movie. Let them be different. You know, you can stay home, hold a heavy paper book in your hands, feel the rough pages, and read the black ink in a perfectly quiet room. Or you can leave the house. You can buy a ticket, sit in a pitch-black theater, see the bright flashing colors on a massive screen, and feel the loud music literally shake your chest. Both are absolutely wonderful ways to experience a story. So, which different world will you choose to step into today?